Hello everybody, and welcome to a GameMaker tutorial. In this video, as promised, we'll be going over the character creation, sort of. It sort of can be character customization, but in this case we're going to be choosing classes and putting in your name as well. Which will be handy if later on you want quests, maybe you put the name in there, be easier to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is create a sprite. It's going to be called sprite arrow. And what this sprite's going to be is going to be our arrows, so we're going to be able to click them, and it's going to change what class it's going to be. So we're gonna edit it and make it new, and I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do the dimensions, so sorry if it goes a bit wrong. May have to come back and do them later, but we'll give 48 by 64 a go. And I can't remember how I did this. I think it was this. I got a sort of nice red colour. Yeah, I think it was this. And then sort of made a roughish arrow. That's a rubbish arrow. I guess that'll do. For the time being, that'll do. You may not want to use that in your own. You can change it. Do whatever. But the most important thing here is we're going to have a sub-image. So a sub-image... sorry. A sub-image is like another image inside the same sprite. So this is called a sprite arrow. We're going to have one pointing right, which is this one, and one pointing left. So we're going to inside this sprite. So what we're going to do is we're going to Control C. This is copy, hotkey, and then Control V. This makes another image here, exactly the same as this one at the minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this around. And GameMaker actually has a built-in function to do this. So if you go around to transform and rotate, you can change this around 180. And oh dear. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. I didn't think it was gonna work. I wasn't sure though. So yeah, just make a new one, to be honest. Yeah, I'll try that again. About there. It's not going to be perfect. That'll do. So, now we're going to control copy it along. And now we're going to rotate it. So now if we do 180 degrees. Oops. Not that one. Forgot to mention, we do not want to apply it to every image. We just want to be that one. So there we go. Now we have two opposite facing arrows in one sprite. Also keeps it a lot neater here. A lot later it's a lot neater. So next thing we're gonna do, create another sprite, and no, we don't need it because we're just gonna use our player sprite. We don't need a sprite for the bit we're going to put all the creations in, but it's easier, I find, when placing it in the room to do it. So I'm going to create an object, and this is going to be called object right arrow. So this is going to be our right arrow. So we're going to give it this sprite arrow. And if we come and create a create event, drag a bit of code over, I'll show you how we can actually use these sub-images to our advantage. So, we are going to initialize the arrow. And gonna image speed. I don't know if I've used this function before. It's been a while since I've done the video. But what it does is it says it's not gonna flick through basically from one of our arrows to the other arrow. So that would be a bit. It would flicker and look a bit nasty. You wouldn't want your right arrow to suddenly turn into a left arrow. Now, image index. What this is it's using our sub images and it's saying the index equals, in this case, 0. So it's going to be our first arrow, which is pointing right. So that just sets that. Also, what we're going to do is create a global .char value, and we're not going to use this quite yet. Actually, we are. We're going to use it in the next bit. I'm going to leave the arrows for now, because I think really what's most important is this char creation. Make an object, call it object char creation, and we're going to give it the sprite of our player. Just makes it easier. It's not going to actually show up. I don't think. No, it's not going to show up. So it doesn't matter what it looks like, but it's easier to use. So going to initialize the character. So I always spell that wrong. So sorry if I did. Creation object. So again, we're going to use the image speed function. Do we need that? No, we don't need that. We don't really need this create event at all, to be honest. It was just I was using this exact code in my actual game, and in that one my player has sub images, so it flickered. But we don't need that in this case. So now we're going to create a step event. I'm going to drag a piece of code over, and we are going to check for keyboard input. So what we're going to do here is this is for our name bar. So in our name bar, we want to actually be able to type our name in. Now you could have a long nasty bit of code to do this. You could have if this key is pressed, draw this letter on. If this key is pressed, put this letter on. But there's a handy function. Believe it or not, GameMaker has quite a lot of them. Have I spelled that wrong? String. Called keyboard string, which I almost forgot then. Basically what it does, everything you type, it stores in this keyboard string. So every button you press on the keyboard, it stores here. So we're not going to use that straight away though, because we want to limit our names to 10 letters. We don't want a massive name, because it won't fit in our box and it'll look a bit horrible. So if string length, so this is just going to check how long our keyboard input is. So keyboard string. For some reason I keep thinking it's input. I don't know why. That might be a function. I'm not sure. Just sorry if you heard anything. I just had an email saying that my professional version of GameMaker's here. It's redeemed it, which is good. I've been looking forward to that. Got it in the humble bundle sale sort of thing. It goes to charity. It was a really good deal, and I got for that. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I've forgotten Oh no, I've forgotten a really key bit up here. It needs to be smaller than 10. Bigger than 10 even. So what this is saying is if the length of our keyboard input is bigger than 10, it's going to set our string back to what it was before when it was 10 spaces long. Which is what this is doing basically. It's a bit complicated. I said it would get a bit more complicated. Post in the comments if you have any confusion over what this means. I'll be happy to help. So we're going to create a draw event. Drag over code. We're actually going to have two pieces of code in this. The first one is going to be draw in the choices. That's not how you spell it. That is, apparently. Of class. And we're going to leave this blank, I think, for the minute. Because we don't need that yet. We're going to make another one. So just drag another one over. And this one is going to be called draw in the name box. This bit we are going to do now. Because this we've already made pretty much with the input. So we've already got the input. We just need to pull it all together and draw it out. So we're going to draw set alpha. And if you've not heard of the term alpha before, obviously it's a Greek alphabet, but in games especially, alpha is referred to as being how transparent it is. So it's alpha transparency is the full name. So one's full transparent, no, one's solid, like my laptop, solid. I can't see through my laptop. Whereas this bit at the bottom, the taskbar, is slightly transparent, so I can see my background through it. So, point 3 is sort of, so you can still see it, but it's not in your face, and it won't overlap our background. So we're going to draw a round rectangle. It's called round rect, shortened. And I'm just going to pop these out of my head. So, well, not out of my head entirely. I've thought them through beforehand. But, you'll want to change them probably, depending on how big your view is, how big you want your game window to be. Especially in my case, it's sizable, so you can change the size. But you might want to change that. This basically just puts it up here at the top bit near this windows. So I'm going to draw a rectangle, and the round rectangle I think's the box outside of it, and this is the box you're actually going to be typing in here. It's going to be a full rectangle. So 68, 64, 716, 96, and false. Forgot to mention actually these bits at the end. It's the first x value, first y value, second x value, second y value, and this bit at the end is whether it's an outline or if it's a filled in object. So we want it filled in, so we put false. Now we're going to set our alpha transparency back to 1. And we're gonna write in our text here. So draw text 470. Can't type today. 70 and keyboard string. I think, yeah, got it right for once. So, what this is going to do is it's going to draw in our name on this nice little box that we've put, and we can type it in, so we can change it around. Just a quick bit at the end, you don't have to put this, but it makes it a bit more professional, easier to use. So, if the length of our string is 0, so if we've not typed anything yet, we're gonna draw text 470, 70, and we're gonna say name. So what this is gonna do, if we've not typed anything in yet, it's gonna put name there. So now comes the tricky a bit. Go into our player. Okay, we set that. So actually, I've changed my mind. We're gonna go back into the thing. I'm gonna create event. Initialize the character creation object. And basically we're just gonna image speed equals 0. Because now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our sprite player. My voice just went funny then. And I'm gonna add a few more images in. So you can toggle these, make them changes of class or whatever. For this example, it's just gonna be a quick example. I'm just gonna have them different coloured heads. So it does look a bit derpy and a bit silly. You'll probably want to change that. Well, you'll definitely want to change that. In my game that I'm using at the minute, I've had different classes. You could have it so there's different hairstyles, different clothes. You could even make this more advanced and have several arrows for different hairs, different clothes. But because this is beginner, I'm just going to keep it simple. So go into creation, and this is where we're going to use the choices of class. So we're going to switch global.char. So this is what we've done previously. We sort of set this. We've not used it yet. And what this variable is going to be is it's going to be for our arrows. So when we press an arrow, it's going to increase it. When we press the other arrow, it's going to decrease it. So it will state which character we want to be on, basically. This is a long and it's quite complicated. I'm just gonna do the first one and then just copy in the rest of it from my other game that I'm using it in. Sprite. Yeah, this is what I want. One. So that's a sub image. So we want the X, Y, 7. I don't. Oh, that's just scaling it, so it makes it bigger. 0. I want it in white, which is just the normal colour. And an alpha of 1. It's a bit confusing, but we're going to draw text x minus 5. Again, these values are just sort of made up. I'm just going to put elf, because that's what I've used in the past. Change them to whatever names you want. This is basically just going to be displaying some information about the thing you're choosing. So especially for a class, you want to know what you're choosing. So I think this is this is just yeah, this is just the information. So I'll just put info for this. Okay. You can change that to whatever. There's quite a lot of background noise in a minute, so sorry if you can't hear me. Apologise. Elf. This is lowercase and have I then break. Yeah. So we need to set this. For the time being, we can just comment this out. We'll come back to it later, probably in my next video, and I'll explain how to use this to actually display our character. Now this is what I came up with before. This has got all in. Don't worry. Basically, I'm just gonna copy this in. Only thing I'm gonna change is this, because I had these for my different players. Just gonna change that to 2. You can just copy that over, that same piece there. How many did I have? I've forgotten. Comment these bits out as well. I don't think we need this last one, as a matter of fact. So again, sorry for background noise. It's distracting. Yeah, that's right. So this will almost work. We just need to finally come in, make a step event in our right arrow, drag a code over. This is our final bit, and then we'll be done. Might be a bit long, this one. Initialize the arrow. Oh no, wrong one, sorry. We're in step, aren't we? Wait, we don't... What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. We need a left pressed. So when it's pressed, what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. So just call it when pressed. So we're going to add to our char variable. Basically, we're just going to add 1 because we're on our right, and that's going to move everything along. So, how many did we have? We had 3. So if it's bigger than 2, because there is a 0. I'm just trying to think what I think. Yeah, let's have this 3 and just quickly go back into our character creation, our draw, and our choices. Just copy this one. And we'll renumber these. So like this. How did we have 4? I think we had 4. Yeah, we did. So this will now work. We're just choosing that to 0. May as well change this a bit. Player stuff. Doesn't matter. You obviously want to change that to whatever usage you're gonna put it in. I'll go back into our arrow now. And now I'm pretty sure what we need to be doing. So that will now work if it equals 0. So if we've got down to 0, if it's bigger than 3, we go back to 0. Now we're going to copy this object entirely, duplicate, call it object left arrow. I'm going to change a few things. So in the create event, we're going to change we're going to get rid of this for a start. We don't need that because we already set it. We're going to change the index to 1. So it's going to be our second image. And our left pressed, we're going to take away. And if it's less than 0, it equals 3. Now, I think that's all of our objects put together. May not work, I don't know. Only one way to find out. Make a new room, call it room char creation. And I'll just get the, I don't know how big I made this one. Okay. So 280 and 720. And backgrounds. Give it a nice bluish colour. Put some objects in. So we're going to put our character creation in. Let's see there. I don't know how well this is going to work. A left arrow. Wait, we want this on this side, don't we? Right arrow. Wait, I've got these right around. Yeah. No, I do want that one on that side because it's the left. That one on that side. Now these should work. So drag it back up to the top. Oh yeah. Remember to put our every in. Now let's see if it throws up any errors at me. It might do because different environments can work differently depending on. It's not got any errors so far. Ah, there's an error. Yep. Yeah, I might just get rid of this every object. I don't think it's doing anything. I think it's just making errors. That's what I thought was gonna make errors. So, if not, we can always just put it in and edit bits out that we don't want to work in our creation sector. So, yeah, it's all a bit off place and everything. But there you go. You can see everything changing as you press the buttons, and you should right. So our dark mage. I'm guessing that's our last one. Let's just check the name input works. Well, yeah, it does work. So our left one isn't working as supposed to. So let's have a look why. Hmm. That's why. This is meant to be 0. So now let's go back in, see how it's doing now. As you can see, everything's a bit all over the place. Obviously you want to change this. So you'll probably want to move this up a bit. But now let's see if this works. Yeah, so now you can scroll all the way through them and put your name in. Or I don't know if anyone's actually called Leonard, but there you go. I think that's everything. I might just move it down quickly because it's up a bit, because it's annoying me. But other than that, I think it's done. Only thing we've got left to do is a start button. Next video I'll go into adapting this to make it your own, sort of. A fancy starting menu with loading and saving buttons. But until then, remember to subscribe, like, comment with any issues or suggestions, and I will talk to you later.